Hi there, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. Allison Scoberg here with Consolidated Planning Group. Consolidated Planning Group is a holistic special needs financial planning firm helping families plan for the future of their loved one with a disability. We help people answer questions like, who's going to care for my loved one when I'm gone? How much money do we need to fund a special needs trust to pay for future care? When and how should we turn on public benefits? We answer a lot of those questions. We do a lot of advocacy work through by way of our webinars and our podcast. And today we are excited to bring to you a new topic that we've never brought before. And we are excited for all of our co-hosts here today that have taken time out of their busy schedules to be here and talk to us about what a Center for Independent Living is. Now, Consolidated Planning Group, we are domiciled in Texas. We do serve all across the United States, but today what we are talking about, the Centers for Independent Living, we are talking to our Texas counterparts today, so I just want to mention that. Today's webinar is being recorded. I always like to go through the housekeeping items. It is being recorded. We are in webinar mode, which means that we can't see you or hear you today. Everyone is going to get a copy of today's slides and a link to the recording by email, so you don't have to take notes and jot things down as quick as you see them. So thank you everyone for being here with us. I do invite you to put your questions in the chat box if you have a specific question for a specific center. You can put those in the chat box. I'm going to be monitoring the chat box as we get started, and we'll answer as many questions as we can during the time that we have together today. I think our webinar will be a little bit shorter than usual. We usually run for an hour, so if you're planning on your day, you can know for sure that it is going to be an hour or less. So thank you everyone for being here with us today. And I would like to start, let me see here. I'm going to come back to Kelly. Okay, so Kelly is with Austin, San Marcos, and Round Rock and Carrollton, Texas, and she is not here right now, but we are going to come back. I think Rebecca is going to be here in her place. So having said that, Doug, tell us a little bit about you and your group and who you serve and what you do.
Hi, I'm Doug Jean. I'm the Community Support Specialist here at East Texas Center for Independent Living. We're located in Tyler, Texas. We serve 13 counties in East Texas as our core service area, and then we serve an additional 13 underserved counties in Northeast Texas as well. And we cover the five core services that every SIL covers: information referral, advocacy, peer support, independent living skills training, and transition services. Also, we have a Home by Choice program where we're partnered with RSOL to help get people out of nursing homes and back into community living if they choose and it's appropriate. And we have, we're one of the last SILs to be doing rep payee for Social Security while we figure out how to transition that.
Okay, so I have some questions. I'm always the question authority. So, but let's just pretend like I don't even know what a still is. I mean, you guys do this. This is what you eat, sleep, and breathe. And you talked about the five areas that the SILs cover. How do I engage your services? Are your services free? What is the value that you could bring to someone in some of those services? And some of the other people can talk about some of the services as well. But let's pretend we don't know about this.
Okay. Excuse me. So our five core services are free. Information referral is if you're looking for resources pertaining to your disability, and that can be very broad. That can be as very specific as assistive technology, durable medical equipment, or it can grow out into more social economic things like housing, transportation. We help find the resources for that for you there. With advocacy, uh, we help advocate in any areas. We need to talk to a landlord about certain accommodations. We go into schools, sit with parents in ARD meetings and 504 meetings. I think it's 504.
Yes, for sure.
I always get the numbers wrong. And down to we sit in as advisors in council meetings and planning meetings for a variety of subjects.
So basically, I mean, so you said that there's a lot of subjects, and you mentioned, 504s and ARDs, and you mentioned housing. So, and resources. You said resources. So if people are maybe, if they're new to the area, or maybe they're looking for new housing resources, you may have housing lists, or you may be knowledgeable about various grants that might be available, or lists that they should get themselves on, and things of that nature. And you also mentioned transportation, because that is a big one. So transportation is often something we haven't had transportation calls in the past, but we do have a question. It says, do you have a list of places for 18 plus for severely autistic males? Our son is very independent but needs assistance with hygiene and showering. Everything else he's independent. We're struggling to find a place.
So right off the top of my head, we don't really have a specific list for our area. I do for situations like Miss Taylor's, we would do an individualized search to help find, because kind of sounds like they're looking for assisted living type arrangement, and that's something that we would have to look for uh, based on location and individual needs.
For sure. And I will say that at Consolidated Planning Group, we definitely have housing lists from across the state, varying from, could be private pay, they may accept an HCS waiver, etc. And I know that there are group home lists and things like that, that are listed under Health and Human Services, and so those are some of the things. But we definitely have lists that we can provide on the, some housing options. And one thing that I will tell you is, if you go to our YouTube channel, the Consolidated Planning Group YouTube channel, we have had many webinars on the topic of housing, because housing is a big deal. And we have had similar panels like this, where a person from each of the organizations comes and says who we are, who we serve, where we're located, how much we cost, if we have a waiting list, and whether or not we take waivers. So in a course of an hour, you could probably hear from 12 to 15 places and kind of narrow them down to see if there's one that might be a fit for your family. Doug, it's certainly our pleasure that you're here with us today. Thank you for sharing a little bit more about your group and what you guys are doing out there. I feel like these centers for independent living are sometimes they're like the best kept secret. So that's why I wanted to do this. I wanted everybody to learn about this. So we have Rise that we're going to talk about next. So tell us about Rise.
Hi, everybody. My name is Seth Wells. I'm the executive director of the Rise Center for Independent Living. We're located in Beaumont, Texas, almost Louisiana, right all the way east over here. And our three federal counties that we serve are Jefferson, Hardin, and Orange County with our ACL funds. And we also, like Edsel, have a contract with Arcel, and we serve an additional 6 counties with relocation services. It's going to echo a lot of what each center does because we all provide these core services. The difference is the people that we serve because all of us are cross age and across disability. So we don't focus on a certain age group. We don't focus on a certain disability. All you need to do to be eligible for services at an independent living center is self-disclose that you're a person living with a disability. And then that will for Rise. That's what we do, and I know that's pretty common across the board. So we try to talk to you and make individual plans. We take each person and try to meet them where they are and discuss goals and plans that they have for their life and to what we can do to assist them in for themselves to achieve those goals. Transportation is a huge issue in our area, and it's also, as I'm sure many of you know, that it's an issue for persons with disabilities, not only in your city, county, and state. It's across the country and across the world. That's why it's really important for centers like ours to advocate for if you're looking for a service that's not being provided, it's really our job as a Center for Independent Living to advocate for that service and who's supposed to be providing that service. We're kind of we do our best to help people fill gaps in services to remain independent. Of course, we deal with a lot of pretty serious natural disasters here in Southeast Texas, so we do our best to stay involved with other organizations like VOAD, which is voluntary organizations active in a disaster. Things of that nature. We're very connected to our 3 counties and everyone we serve because we're kind of flooded together often every other year or so. So we know each other very well. I'm also a veteran, so we have a special heart for veterans here at our center. So we just try to help everybody and anybody that comes through the door and try to, again, meet them where they are and discuss some things. It's 66% of our Texas counties are covered by a SIL, which means 33% are not. So if you live in one of those counties, you can call a Center for Independent Living and we can give you a service, the information and referral service. But unfortunately, sometimes we can't do direct assistance if we're not federally attached to those counties, which is something we're all advocating for to expand those services. And also coming up right now, every 3 years, the state has to the IL network has to come up with a SPIL, which is the state plan for independent living. There's actually a town hall tomorrow that's open to the public, which is virtual, and I'll put the link to the Texas Silk, which is the State Independent Living Council, and their website, and you can register for that webinar, and that will tell you about the state plan that we all of our centers directors have to agree upon and sign to ratify for the next 3 years. And you're more than welcome to join that webinar and see what the SPIL is and learn a little bit about that and how these funds come from the government, from the federal government, and are distributed here by SILs for persons with disabilities. So we are for people with disabilities, and we employ 100% of people that identify as someone living with a disability, and we're just happy to help any way we can to keep people remaining in their own homes and independent in their own communities. And we just want to help the person in front of us and repeat. So thank you very much for allowing me to be here today. If there's any questions, I'll be happy.
I love that, Seth. Thanks for sharing that. I do actually have a couple of questions. You talk about, some like skills and training and things like that, and I am reminded of VR, like vocational rehab. And do your services overlap or work in conjunction with VR? and how are the skills, like what kind of skills are we talking about that we do? I know it's probably a broad range because people have all kinds of different, disabilities, but talk to
Mhm.
me about some of the skills that you're talking about.
Right. So if someone calls us looking for that, I want to go to work, or I want to go back to work after maybe they had an on-job accident, they had a disability that may not be long-term, but they're trying to go back to work, but they're dealing with a new way they're going to go back to work, or they're looking for their first job. We would refer them to TWC VRS here in the area, and work with them. Another way we could help is with transportation to that job. If you, especially accessible transportation. Here in Beaumont, we've advocated for expanded transportation services for veterans, which we have. Any veteran in the city of Beaumont can ride for free. That includes paratransit services. It's really being a resource hub for folks, because oftentimes we hear is, I don't even know where to start. It's very difficult to start. And some of those other skills might be soft skills, like some general resume writing, do some interviews, right? Because one of the greatest barriers for persons with disabilities in the workplace is not often the job, it's interacting with others and understanding that social environment that they may not have been in before. So that's a part of IL training. We have a very small center. We had a larger one, but we got flooded, so we had to move up. So we work with other community partners like the Arc of Beaumont and other adult work day habs like Ability Central Works to get people experience. And also with TWC VRS, the paid internship program. We're always looking for more opportunities to put persons with disabilities into employment opportunities. And that's a program where they are paid by TWC VRS. It's no cost to the employer. So if you know of somebody, an employer that your child or someone with a disability might want to work for, you can refer that company to your local TWC VRS and work on getting them into that program so they could have paid internships for persons with disabilities.
I love VR. Vocational rehab. We throw all these acronyms around. Everything's confusing to begin with. These Health and Human Services and Medicaid and Medicare, SSI, SSDI. It's all so confusing. But VR, for those of you that don't know, we do have a webinar on vocational rehab, what it is, what services they offer, and it is for individuals with a disability that have an impediment to employment. They have state and federally funded. They have deep pockets, and they really work with an individual, putting a very specific work plan in place for them and help them get the training that they need to close the gaps on those impediments to employment. So if you're hearing about VR for the first time, whether you're in state or out of state, it's all across the country, you're going to want to check out VR. You can start your VR if you go to Google and say start my VR in Texas, it's going to come up. It'll take you to that page. So thank you, Seth, for being here with us. I'm going to go to Rebecca. I'm going to go backwards for a second here. Rebecca, thank you for joining us in Kelly's absence today. Talk to us about your group. Oh, you're on mute.
Okay, thank you for having me. Yeah, I agree with what Seth was saying. We also, let me just go back. So Arcel, we have office in Austin, San Marcos, Round Rock, and then our Carlton office. And in those offices, we provide the core services that everybody was talking about. We do the peer mentoring. We work with the other agencies. So my background was I was a job coach. So I definitely right up there with working for many years with VR. And so in our offices, we refer people to VR as well as they refer people to us. And like my program, we teach independent living skills. So we will have classes on employability skills, money management, cooking, laundry, what is advocacy? Because some people don't even know what it is. So the importance of knowing that you can speak up for yourself. We will also discuss what the history for Centers for Independent Living and how that was developed. We have offices that is the relocation, like the other offices we're talking about, where they individuals will be referred to ARSL and they can help them with relocating from a nursing home if they're on Medicaid. One of the other programs is the independent living services. So that's if somebody needs durable medical equipment, they may need hearing aids, grab bars, wheelchair ramps, vehicle modifications. Sometimes we will get somebody that calls in for my program, and as we're talking, we find out they may need a something from the other program, which, you know, they may need even a brace for their shoe or hearing aids. And so we will refer to the other offices. Our Carlton office also is part of that IL services program. Now we have our San Marcos office that right now is working on some great programs with other agencies. They have a lot of people that are homeless that are needing a place to come in and use our computer labs to try to help find places to live, find jobs. So those are some of the other areas. We have, just like the other cells, we are mandated that you have a minimum of 51% of the staff have a disability. So then we can understand my disability may not be the same as somebody else's, but because I have gone through challenges, it's easier for people to come in and say, you know, I feel awkward in a group situation. And it's like, yeah, I can understand that. We are 5 core services are free, along with the other centers. If they say they have a disability, they live in the state of Texas and want services, that is what's required. We don't ask for proof of disability. And our classes are volunteer. They can come to as few or as many classes. I have classes that are both in person, virtual, and hybrid. So we try to meet those that are not able to come in, but still want to learn. And we work a lot with the 18+ program that they just need a little bit extra help. And so I'm sorry, I'm kind of stumbling
Yeah,
because
no, this is great.
I
No,
was
this is
not
great,
prepared.
Rebecca. So the bottom line is if they're in the area, then they can reach out and get connected to the services in your area. And I happen to notice that San Antonio is not on here, and I guess I'm surprised. Do they have their own SIL in San Antonio? Okay.
They do.
Okay, and so if anybody's on here from San Antonio and need information on that, you can reach out to Rebecca and she can put you in touch with the right one for San Antonio. Thank you, Rebecca, for being here.
Yeah, I just want to do one
today.
quick thing. So as I'm going to piggyback off of what Seth was saying, is we have in Texas centers that work together. So they have a program that they meet quarterly, trying to make sure everybody's working together. So it's a great thing, so.
For sure. Thank you again, Rebecca. Thanks for
You're welcome.
sharing your group. Nancy, thank you for being here with us today. Talk to us about life.
Well, my name is Nancy Penland. I'm the Director of Programs at Life, and I've been with the center for 28 years. We have, like many of the other centers in Texas, we provide the 5 core services, of course, and that would include Independent Living Services Program, which we have. I couldn't give you the exact county. I think it's 18, or it might be a little bit more counties that we serve for that program. And that is being able to purchase the various devices that people need. And we try to see if we can find some of those, because nothing happens quickly when you're working with the state, as you know. So we try to make sure that we can look in the community for some of those devices to help people to maintain their independence. We also, like many other of the centers, we work with a relocation from nursing home. It's one of the 5 core services. We've been doing that since the inception of that program in Texas. That
Is that the PASSAR program?
no,
That
that is no, it's the it was originally called Home by Choice. We've renamed ours as Reconnect. The 5th core service covers youth transition, diversion, and nursing home relocation. So we help on that aspect of it. We help relocate people from nursing facilities, people who are Medicaid eligible, back into the community. We cover the whole panhandle, top part of Texas, over to I can't think of it, Wichita Falls, I'm sorry, Abilene, all the way over to El Paso and San Angelo and back up to Lubbock. So we have a couple of subcontractors. We subcontract with Vail and Disability in Action in Abilene, and with the Disability Connections in San Angelo to provide those services. We've been doing that a long time, and we also do a 3-month follow-up with that person after they relocate to ensure that they're stable in the community. And we have a very low recidivism rate for that reason. So people aren't going back in, and that's been a really great program.
That's great.
We also have a Social Security representative payee program that we have. We've been doing that for many years. We're serving over about 100 people right now, and we anticipate expanding that program.
Let's take a pause on that and just back up a second, because again, you know this and I know this, but when you say you have a representative payee program, many individuals with a disability have a representative payee, but it can be problematic when their representative payee becomes incapacitated or passes away. So are you saying your representative payee program is a way that you can be their representative payee for them when their caregiver no longer can, and so that way their benefits don't get frozen?
Yes, we are an authorized Social Security organizational representative payee program. It's a long name. And we provide that, and we have provided that service for a long time. It is problematic when family or friends provides that service, because the barriers are down a little bit in between family members, and people get angry, and it creates a lot of tension in the family. And as an organizational rep payee, well, they can be mad if they want to, but the reality of it is we abide by the Social Security rules. Social Security mandates certain people have to have a payee because they have shown a history maybe of not managing their money. And in that capacity, we've been able to make a lot of contacts and work closely with some of the housing authorities and property management companies in our area, so that even though there are certain, as you all know, you have to make so much money per month as part of your rent. You know, if your rent is 1,000, they want you to make 3,000 in income. Well, that's not happening with our folks. So because they know that we are reliable to pay the rent, they will sometimes waive that one requirement, and we're able to get housing for people a lot easier than maybe they could on their own.
I love that. Nancy, I just want to, we're nationally certified as Social Security advisors, so I live in this world all day, every day. And one of the big conundrums that I see in the disability community is that people are not always notified that you should name a successor rep payee. You can name up to 3 successor rep payees for free. So it's a matter of doing it, but it's really, really important because we've actually seen people that did not have a successor rep payee, and we've seen it take 2 years to get worked out. Now they'll go back and back pay them, but that doesn't pay the
How do
bills.
they live in the meantime, right?
Right, that doesn't pay the bills in the meantime. So it's easily remedied for free to name a successor rep payee up to 3. So I'm glad you brought that up. It's a real issue.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that part up too, because I think it's something that we probably need to educate our consumers about, even those who have their own payee. But it has been a very important program. We do charge for that program. Most of our services are free, but for the rep payee program, we have a $47 a month fee just to cover the cost of the databases and things like that. And we have a dedicated person. Of course, we're audited all the time, thankfully, because I think that that's important. So that's been a good program, and each individual on that program is also assigned an independent living services coordinator who will then help them to access the different resources in the community to make sure that if there's energy assistance and they need it, or get their SNAP benefits. And we check on the Medicare savings options for QMB or SLMB, so that we can maximize people's income. And basically, if someone is paying, if you're getting QMB to pay that $170 Medicare copay or premium, that makes a huge improvement for people. So that's something that we check very closely all the time.
You're mentioning a lot of things, and I think a lot of times people feel overwhelmed because there's all these things like the Medicare Savings Program. We're talking about SSI. We're talking about rep payees, HIP, the Health Insurance Reimbursement Program for people that are on their family's group health insurance and also get Medicaid. That's a great program too. So, but I think that people put these things on the table because it's overwhelming dealing with some of these agencies. So the fact that these organizations can provide help to you and to your family for free on some of these matters is good. So thank you for that. Nancy, before we go on to our next one, and for anybody that's already presented, you can put this in the chat box because I didn't ask you, sorry. If there's one thing that you guys, your group, you're just hitting a home run on, you're most proud of, what would that be?
Well, for life, I think that our payee program, we also have the, of course, purchase services program that many of the agencies have. That has been a really important program for us to help people maintain their independence, and our relocation and our ASL interpreting services. And sometimes it's just the basic day-to-day stuff that we're doing for people. I think it's all a quality of life issue, and that's important.
And I think part of it, and the key that I'm taking away from each one of you and what you're saying, is that these services are tailored to the individual and the step that they are on their journey. And so there's a lot of things that you can do, but it depends on what their needs are at that time. Well, Nancy, we are so glad that you are here with us today. If you guys have any questions for Nancy, if you'll put those in the chat box, that will be great. Next, we are going to the Coalition for a Barrier-Free Living, and we've got Jason Jones with us. Jason, we're happy that you're here with us today. Tell us a little bit about the coalition.
Thank you so much for having me today. It is a delight and a pleasure to be with you all today. So we are the Coalition for Barrier-Free Living. And so what we do is we are the Coalition for Barrier-Free Living consists of 3 locations, okay? And so we are the Coalition for Barrier-Free Living, consisting of 3 locations covering 17 counties, okay? So what we do is we cover our main headquarters here in Houston, and also we have our Fort Bend Center for Independent Living in Sugar Land, and then we have a Brazoria County Center for Independent Living in Angleton, okay? And so we cover some of the same core services that many of the other centers provide as well. But a couple of things I wanted to touch on, because we are definitely excited about some things that we have going on here. Of course, one of the core services being independent living skills training. My role here is the peer advocate outreach specialist. So what does that entail? Well, I work with different organizations to establish partnerships with our agency. So anytime that an organization wants to partner with us, I would bring it back to our agency and talk with them to our executive director, Dr. Stephanie Simmons. And so from there, we will make the determination as to how that partnership or collaboration would fit with the core mission of our agency. And the mission of our agency states that people with disabilities have the right to take risks, the right to make choices, the right to fail, as well as the right to succeed. So we want to make sure that anyone who partners with us or we do anything in the community is going to bring benefits on all ends for people with disabilities. And so one of the things I wanted to touch on as far as independent living skills training is that I'm starting a class here consisting of screen reader software. Now, what that means is that since I have a disability as well, and by the way, our Centers for Independent Living, we also have over 50% of our staff with at least one disability. So the disability that I have is, excuse me, I have a visual impairment. And so I use a screen reader to help me navigate screen to screen, web browsers, and so forth to help me do my daily job. So one of the things that we're doing here is starting a class on a screen reader that's well known in the visually impaired community called JAWS. And JAWS simply stands for Job Access with Speech. Okay, so what it is that we do is we are going to get people familiar with the basics of JAWS, so that way they can help themselves to navigate and achieve other goals, whether it's employment, educational, and so forth. So we have a lot of great things going on in terms of understanding how to serve people with disabilities. And one of the biggest quotes that I always leave people with is, and it goes back to the core of why we serve people with disabilities the way that we do, is a quote that I came up with a couple of years ago. And the quote simply says, "Acknowledge the disability, value the person." Again, it's acknowledge the disability, value the person.
I love that, Jason, and I love what you've shared. And also, I would like to say again, he said JAWS. I've learned a lot, but I love that I get to learn new stuff every week. So JAWS is new to me, the job access with speech. That's awesome. So that sounds like it's an awesome tool, and I'm so glad that you shared that. And so, the coalition, as he mentioned, is big, 17 counties. That is a big group that they serve. And I know that I'm in Fort Bend, and I've been to the Fort Bend Center for Independent Living before, and have had interactions with both Houston and Fort Bend. So if you're in those areas, reach out. And we've got Jason's contact information on the screen, and he'll be happy to chat with you further. So thank you again, Jason, for being here with us today.
And just before I go, I wanted to share one more quick thing as well. You mentioned about the having the service for veterans. We have a great partnership with Service Dollars of America, and we offer that service to veterans who are in need of a service animal for absolutely free. And so, because we recognize that there's the old saying is that a dog is a man's best friend, and it can be a woman's best friend too, especially for those who have served this country in any capacity. So we are definitely excited about that. And if there is, a home run that we want to be most proud of, we, as of this past weekend, held our first ever Adaptive Living Solutions Expo at the George R. Brown Convention Center. And we are very excited about that because it was kind of concerning because, as most of you know, we've had some severe weather to hit our area just days before that event. And in spite of all that, the event was a huge success. And so it gives us a way to let people know what we're doing, to bring vendors along, to help people with disabilities in the community know what's out there, so that the more you know, the more you can succeed.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the event. Yes, for sure. And I know that there's some people across Texas that they're expecting some crazy weather here today. Not in the greater Houston area, but anyway. So everybody hang in there and stay safe. Let me make sure I've got, okay, so we are moving to Vail. So thank you again, Jason, for being with us. Let's hear about Vail and your services. Hi, Ricardo.
Hello, yes, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ricardo Medina. I'm the Independent Living Program Manager with the Valley Association for Independent Living. Our service area is Hidalgo, Star, Willacy, Cameron, Webb County, Jim Hogg, Duval, and Zapata County. So basically picture all those southern counties in the south of Texas right along the border. Those are the areas that we serve. We have 2 offices. One of those offices, our main office, is in McAllen, Texas, and the satellite office where I'm at is in Laredo, Texas. We offer the 5 core services like every other center for independent living, which is information and referral, peer counseling, independent living skills training, individual and system advocacy, and transition services. A little bit of example in terms of what we do with those core services. When it comes to information and referral, we basically assess the needs of the individual and try to identify any programs that they may be eligible or entitled to at the local, state, or federal level, right? We are a Texas community partner, meaning that our staff is trained, at least at the IO department, our staff is trained to be able to help out individuals fill out applications for state programs such as the SNAP program, Medicaid program, TANF, anything that the state, the Health and Human Service Commission offers. We're trying to help out and at least fill out those applications and gather all the required documents that they need to submit those documents. We also help out with Social Security applications and helping them fill out a appeal when their decisions are denied for Social Security. So those are some of the things that we do in terms of information and referral. Peer counseling, we also, as every center for independent living, over 51% of your staff has to be identified with a disability. So our staff are available to help out other individuals with similar disabilities in the community. Independent living skills, that's you're talking about money management skills, cooking skills, laundry, hygiene skills, transportation. We do have a mobility management program where the manager and the staff help out individuals map out their routes from their home to their job or their home to wherever they need to go to. And they actually go out with them and sit with them in the bus, run it a couple of times, do some trial runs so they could be familiar with the route. And then when they're confident to be on their own, they're on their own. And then we offer transition services for all ages and stages of life. And we also offer for the individual and system advocacy. And that could be anything from, ensuring a doctor's office is providing communication services to an individual that is deaf or to a family member that is deaf.
I think Ricardo froze
The
on
range
my
of
end.
it's-
Can you hear us okay?
Am I back? Did I go out? I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Now I don't know where I was left off. If y'all could just tell me, then I could continue from there.
Well, I think I think you're like towards the end, but I think one of the key takeaways that I'm hearing that from all of them, information and referral, but helping individuals identify various programs that they may qualify for or they may sign up for, whether it be locally, statewide or federal programs. I think that that is very helpful, and I do know that people do feel pretty overwhelmed with some of the application processes, namely SSI, Medicaid. There's so many that people feel overwhelmed with. They get these long, big documents and they don't know what to do with them. So I love that you guys are providing support in that way. So Hidalgo, Star, Willacy, Cameron, Webb, Jim Hogg, is that a county?
That is correct. Yes, that is a county.
How about that? Duval, Zapata. Okay, so we are really, really glad you're here. And before we move on, can you tell us the thing that you would say that you're most proud of? Sounds like you guys are doing big things in your area. What would you say that you guys are hitting a home run on and that you're most proud of?
I think overall our agency, there's a lot of good things that we do. One thing that we're trying to, as far as improve and something that we're proud of, is ensuring the representation of individuals with disability in the workforce. So we try our best to get individuals or consumers, provide them with those job-ready skills, but we also help them at no cost to them obtain certificates such as the Texas Food Handler Certificate, CPR certification. We also work with this organization called Driving Quest. They provided us with vouchers where an individual could take the Texas driving test online. And once they pass that, then they eventually could go and have take the driving test to obtain their license. I also do want to add that all of our services are also offered to the deaf community. We have supervisors and staff that are either deaf or are trained in ASL to be able to provide those services. And we're also bilingual, so we provide our services in Spanish as well.
Awesome, Ricardo. Thank you for being here with us today. Certainly my pleasure to meet you. Thank you for telling us about Valley Association for Independent Living. Okay, so next up we have Jesse. Jesse has been patiently awaiting to tell us about Reach. Tell us about your group.
Hi, I'm Jessie. I am our communications and outreach specialist here in Reach. So we serve the Tarrant County, which is Fort Worth, Dallas County, Denton County, and Collin County, which would be Plano. We do serve other counties outside of that. Those are just our 4 main counties that we serve. And then, like everyone has been saying, we do the 5 core services as well. I would say that right now, we are really proud of some new services that we have just launched. So we just launched our VDC care program, which is Veterans Directed Care. And we are partnered up with the VA on making sure that veterans are also getting taken care of and served, because a lot of them aren't in our area. So we found that there's a really big need. So we are now expanding all the way out to Oklahoma to cover veterans and stuff. So that's a really exciting program that we just started up, and they'll be receiving for anywhere from our core services to helping with getting in-person care taken care of there as well, at no cost to veterans. So that's a really awesome program that we just started. And then we also offer free summer camps for our transition aged group, which is that 18 plus program right outside of high school. So all of our offices have a summer camp, and they are a week long. They are 4 hours a day, just for that week. And then all of them will be on different weeks, so people can attend multiple camps if they would like. And then what we like to say about that camp is that it is a quick but efficient way to get all of the information that you're needing right in that time of like, okay, do I want to go to college? Do I want to get a job? How can I do that? And so that camp kind of really focuses on that transition and figuring out how we can help them support the goals that they have. And then we also just started another new program, and it is launching in the next month, so in June, and that is our OIB program for older individuals who are blind. So we will be helping them. We'll be having independent living services solely directed for that group. Our staff member has been working really hard to get this program going. So that's going to be starting up in June, and we're excited about that as well. And then, yeah, we are also working with TWC. We help with jobs or anything like that as well. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Well, Jesse, what my key takeaway in listening to everybody talk is, I'm just reminded, I think a lot of our YouTubes, our what we've put out there is to encourage people and show people there is help out there, and it doesn't have to cost anything. There is a lot of help, there's a lot of support, there are a lot of resources, and it's just kind of figuring out where they are and who to reach out to. And even those resources are knowledgeable about other resources, like maybe through the ARC or through Easter Seals or some of the other programs that are out there. So if I hope that the takeaway today is that the Centers for Independent Living they are all across the state, and you can get connected even if you happen to be in one of those remote areas where there isn't a particular center. You can still get services and get connected. But I'm so grateful that everybody has shared the information that they have today, that we've taken a deeper dive on this. Guys, I always talk about things to keep on your radar when it comes to planning. We've kind of, we danced around Medicaid, Medicare, SSI, SSDI. That's a whole other webinar in itself. And we've got lots of webinars on those topics. We talked really briefly about Medicaid waivers and how sometimes Medicaid waivers may pay for housing, like HCS waiver. We've got webinars on all of these topics. So whether you're thinking about an ABLE account, how to make sure you keep yourself under that $2,000 limit so you can maintain Medicaid eligibility in the state of Texas. We've got topics out there. We have over 400 webinars on our Consolidated Planning Group YouTube channel. So today, this has been recorded. Everybody is going to get a copy of today's slides with the contact information from all of our presenters. And this will have a link to any upcoming webinars that we have, and you can check those out for the planning journey that you're on, and what information you might need to, you might want to learn or want to join us for. We are nationally certified as Social Security advisors, members of the Special Needs Planning Academy. We work on a collaborative team here at CPG, and we stand ready to help you plan for the future. So if you have deeper questions, you need to go deep and wide on something that maybe you didn't ask or put in the chat box today, we can certainly help you. Every one of our presenters here today can certainly help you, and they stand ready to field your questions and provide you with resources that you may need for either yourself or for your loved one that you are listening in for today. So feel free to reach out to us. This QR code will take you to our calendar. You can schedule a free personalized consultation with us directly here. And I would just like to personally thank all of you guys for coming together today. I love it. I love these panels because we can learn about a lot of different things quick, fast, and in a hurry, because we're all busy, right? So thank you everyone for taking an hour out of your day today to be here with us today. And we will look forward to partnering with you again soon. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great afternoon and stay safe from the storms upcoming. Take care.
Thanks,
Bye now.
everybody.